So the Chicago Bears, they've got another huge advantage against the Minnesota Vikings. I cannot wait for this game today. And there's a player that's totally gone under the radar on this offense. I'm going to focus on him during this video. That's center Drew Dalman. And before I do, a little something for the comments. Are you happy with Theo Benedict at left tackle right now? Do you think we should go back to Braxton Jones? What's your assessment of the offensive line? I'm going to get to PFF's assessment among other sources in this video, but let's talk about that in the comments. And let's get back to Drew Dalman. The Bears have yet another advantage over the Vikings. You see, the Vikings are without Jonathan Grenard as well this weekend, their number one rusher on the edge in this Flores-led defense. So naturally, one would assume that the main source of pressure would then have to come from the inside, right? Well, in this revamped offensive line, Drew Dalman, he should be all you need to gain the advantage here based on his performance against the New York Giants last week. If you look at the stats, if you look at the tape, I'm going to do the work for you. He absolutely manhandled the best, if not one of the best defensive tackles in this game. Let's break this down together here in just a moment. But first, how good is this Bears offensive line? The Chicago Bears offensive line is third in the NFL in yards per game. What's behind the rise? Well, it starts up front. Pro Football Network, they just gave out their most recent ratings, and the Bears are graded as their top offensive line. Yes, you heard me right. Number one in the NFL, unseated the line of the Denver Broncos. So let's just check this out together, what they had to say. And I'm going to go to this graphic, kind of illustrating this a little bit, but let's check this out. I'm just going to quote from earlier in the article. The Bears revamped their offensive line this past offseason, and it has paid off as they are currently the best unit in the league with an 89.6 OLI grade. Chicago dethroned the Broncos' impressive line by leading the NFL in average time to throw. Oh, that's an interesting stat. 3.37 seconds. Average time until pressure, 4.68 seconds. That's a lot of time. And average time to sack allowed at 4.51 seconds. They have allowed a quick pressure, a pressure within 2.7 seconds on just 8.8% of dropbacks. That's the best in the league. They've allowed just 14 sacks. That's third best. A 4.5% sack rate. That's fifth best. On the ground, the Bears average 1.33 yards before contact. That's the second best, and 4.8 yards per rush. That is fifth best in the NFL. So we're looking at an overall OLI grade of 89.6, with the best ranked offensive lineman is Darnell Wright. No surprise to us. 88.4. That's eighth overall, third at his position. And then the worst ranked offensive lineman, that's Theo Benedict. He gets a 61.7. That's 158th overall, 62nd in the position. So that's why I decided that should be our question in the comments, right? Do we go back to Braxton Jones if that's possible? I'm actually glad that we kept Braxton Jones. We need the depth. I'm so glad that GM Ryan Poles, he had the foresight to keep our depth instead of trying to do a cheap trade by offering Braxton Jones in some type of package. Anyways, I absolutely love that. I'm looking forward to talking that through in the comments. And let's just get back to Drew Dalman. Ben Johnson. Huge praise for Drew Dalman after his game versus Dexter Lawrence. We're talking about starting center Drew Dalman. He had a really tough assignment. If you look at the draw on paper, he was tasked with going up against Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. That's a player that Ben Johnson considers top 2 in the league at his specific position. Let's hear straight from our head coach. That was certainly a matchup that we were looking out for. This is during his interview of Jeff Joniak on ESPN Chicago. It doesn't matter who your center is, and we got a darn good one. That's one of the best nose guards in football. He aligns on the center 99% of the time. He's tilted. He gets his hands on you. He hugs that neutral zone. A strong player. I thought Drew did a nice job throughout that day. We tried to help him out with some guard play as much as we could, but that certainly wasn't on every play. I thought Drew did a nice job throughout. So let's look at the numbers. How good of a day did he really have against Dexter? New York's 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle. I want to throw that in there. He finished the game with just 1 pressure. That's on 23 pass rush snaps against the Bears on Sunday. He had a run defense grade of 51.0. That's according to PFF. And if you look at Dalman specifically in this game, a 72.2 offensive grade. That was 5th highest on the team. 3rd highest run block grade, 73.5. You're looking at Sunday. That was Dalman's 4th game in a row without allowing a single pressure. The longest such streak of his career. He's playing the best ball of his career within this offense. What a signing. When free agency period started back in the spring, the Bears, they immediately locked up Dalman to a 3-year contract. And going into the process, Johnson, he was really clear on how he prioritized that position to fix this offensive line. This is more from him. To help Caleb Williams out the most going forward, I do think we need a strong presence at center. This is at the 2025 Combine. Smart player that can help set the table for run game and pass protection perspective. So then, it might be a position that typically receives little praise, right? If you don't talk about the center, that means he's doing an awesome job. There's been some hiccups with the quarterback to center exchange earlier. We can think back to that New Orleans Saints game. But Dalman, he has been everything for the Bears, playing the best football so far of his career through 10 weeks of the season. Absolutely been that rock that's needed within any good offense, which the Bears are proving to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. I can't believe I'm saying it. Yes, one of the best offenses in the NFL. The highest big play percentage leading the whole league. And we're looking at this Bears offensive line playing so well against this talented New York Giants front, against this pass rush. And while this unit did have some issues on the edges, the interior, one of its best games of the season, and that's Dexter Lawrence usually being a difference maker. And the Bears, they absolutely shut him down. And now covering a couple other things. This just cropped up leading into this game. This is kind of ridiculous. 2 of the Bears players, they got penalized. They got fined. So I just want to tell you what the league is doing. Bears safety Kevin Byard. He drew a hefty fine for using his helmet, making a stop on Sunday against the Giants. He didn't have the team's only fine, 24-20 victory. Byard, he was hit with a pretty hefty one, over $23,000 for using his helmet, and that's when he was tackling Wan'Dale Robinson. Apparently, he used his helmet. I didn't notice it, but that was with about 8 minutes left in the third quarter. It was officially labeled unnecessary roughness. Yeah, I do remember. So the fine was the Bears' second-year defensive end Austin Booker for the same reason. First quarter hit on running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. His fine was kind of small, $5,800. So the Bears weren't the only team drawing fines in this game. Demetrius Flanagan fouls. He got signed over $7,000, and that was on using his helmet on a tackle against Bears running back DeAndre Swift. So I just wanted to share that with you. Caleb Williams, he took a league-high 68 sacks for an absurd sack rate of about 11%. Man, what a difference an offensive line makes. What a difference a revamped offensive line. It's just so good. I'm almost speechless here. I cannot wait for this game today. I wanted to get on here before church and let you guys know what's up. Hey, continue to come to the channel. I absolutely love doing this. I love interacting with you. Continue to hit the subscribe button as we push towards 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Bear down. Let's kick the crap out of the Minnesota Vikings today. I cannot wait to watch. We'll talk after. See ya.